What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Heroes for Hire podcast. My name is Shaun. I'm on my own, just doing a little bit of an intro to this episode. If you haven't kept up, if you haven't heard some of the latest episodes, Conor's getting married in like 4 days, 2 days, I don't know. He's getting married this week. I'm going to be there. And so we have not had time to record at our usual schedule, as you can understand. So what we're doing, we're putting out just an older Patreon review that people might not have heard yet, and people might want to listen to again. We quite like this one. We think it's quite funny. So just to tide you over until we can get back to our regularly scheduled programming. But yeah, that's about it. Enjoy the show, and we will see you all soon.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another month here on the Heroes for Hire Patreon. This is, of course, the Lazarus Pit, and I am joined, as always, by my best pal, Mr. Shaun. Shaun, how's it going?
I'm good, Conor. Very good to be here, as usual.
Yeah. Kind of sounded like you weren't happy to be here. It was kind of sarcastic.
Have you seen the movie we're talking about?
I wanted to firstly give everyone a shout out. Thank you very much for all your responses of movies that we can do. They're all added into the hat. So eventually they will be pulled out at some stage.
I think there might be too many movies in the hat, and I would like to go through and pick out the ones I don't like. Is that okay? Get rid of them. Just cherry pick some of my favourite movies and leave those in the hat.
I don't know if you're quite grasping the concept of the hat.
I'm getting sick of this, lads.
So, unfortunately, what was nominated a little while ago, I think probably last year, maybe the year before, Star Wars Episode 9 is what we were going to be doing this month, The Rise of Skywalker. If it is your first PELP or Lazarus Pit review, all we do here is we go back and look at old movies, see how they hold up. Now, this one is slightly interesting, Shaun, in that we've already done a review on the show of The Rise of Skywalker with our Patreon pal, or no, our podcast pal Conor Martin,
Indeed,
who joined us for that review.
That was a bumper episode as well. It was
like 2.5 hours long, 3 hours long, that review. It was
three microphones and we're all next to each other. It was a nightmare. I'm
not quite convinced that episode exists anymore, so nobody can.
From memory, I think we were soft on the movie.
I think, and look, I don't want to say anything, right? But Conor Martin's not a patron, so I can say whatever the fuck I want, right?
I think he's a lovely man.
We hung out with him this weekend, the two of us. It was great crack, right?
Great time.
But he really loves Star Wars, right? And I think because he was in the room, we didn't want to have the Ralph Wiggum moment where we watch his heart break, and so I think we were like, yeah, look, it's fine. Whereas now he's out of the room, Shaun. It's just me and you. We can talk honestly and open here about how we feel. I also think it's really interesting because it's now like 5 years after. So
Jesus.
It's 2019 was the release, December 2019. So,
a beautiful time when nothing could possibly go wrong in the world.
And you said to me, nothing will ever go wrong.
I said it's clean living from here on out, baby.
I've been eating this bat for weeks, he said. So it's been 5 years, and since then, I think the Star Wars vibe has only gone one direction, and it's not up.
Yeah. No, it's the nice guy who keeps messaging you on Instagram.
Why don't you like me? I'm such a nice boy. And so what could be really interesting is after now 5 years going back to rewatch this with everything we know, maybe we were too harsh, Shaun. Maybe we weren't harsh enough. It's kind of up in the air at the minute. I'm not going to spoil anything. But Shaun, you love Star Wars, and that's why I love doing Star Wars movies with you. We've done 1, 2, 3, 8.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think we've done 1, 2, 3 and 8.
And now we're doing 9, yes.
Now we're doing 9.
Did we do Rogue One? I don't think we did Rogue One.
I don't think Rogue One has not been suggested, so it is not in the hat.
I see. Okay, now I know how the hat
because
works.
People only nominate bad movies because they think it's funny.
Yeah, so. And I like Star Wars in broad strokes, in that I think it's an interesting thing that exists.
But you told me it's gone woke.
and thus should deserve to go broke, yes.
Too many women, you said.
That is my main gripe and complaint. Yes. No.
I had great fun with that. Go on.
The idea of Star Wars is cool. Most of my favourite stuff happens a million years before the main series takes place. And I think 4, 5 and 6 are the best ones, and I don't think that's a weird statement. I think most Star Wars stuff that exists now is bad.
Except for Andor, which is really good.
Andor's real good. Rogue One I do like.
Rogue One's pretty good.
Solo, I think we were hard on it.
Solo is grand. It's fine. And you know what? That's better than most of them. So, you take it.
The Acolyte, cancelled. Get rid of it. Get out of here.
Look, I didn't watch it, and I probably would. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series, we were soft on that. That was also fairly fine and just slop. A lot of it is slop.
A lot of it is grey slop, and they just keep shoveling it into you.
Right. And look, that's fine. People maybe like Star Wars, right? That's the thing, right? People love this shit.
Yeah.
And what we come from is kind of slightly different in that I don't mind Star Wars. I don't give or take it. But I'm like that with most things, probably even Batman. So I don't care.
We don't have blind loyalty to anything, I would say.
I think Batman is stupid, but I also think I like it. So I'm like, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
So like you grew up with Star Wars. You love all the prequels. You did get very emotional when I started insulting them. But at the same time, I was right. So I mean, you're just nostalgic. Nostalgic glasses kind of blind you. I think my favourite Star Wars movie is 7, which is it's not because of the quality of the movie. It's because I seen it opening night, and it was like after all those years.
Yeah, see, that's your nostalgia. That's you. Yeah, you have positive memories.
And I'm willing to say it. I'm like, it's probably not the best movie, but I went opening night, and I was like the right age. Like I was 19, 20 or whatever I was, and so like comes out. And I was just like, this is the vibe in here is really good. Like, everyone's into it, everyone's excited, everyone's happy. It was 2015, it was a different time.
A different time, we had so much hope in us.
We liked Star Wars. And there was a woman leading it. It was weird, Sean. It was,
wouldn't be for me now. That's well established.
You have to remember also that this is about a week before all the Mary Sue things started coming out. So everyone was just like, wow, that was a good movie. That's pretty good. I mean, it was the same as New Hope, but pretty good.
But this movie was just a mess from the start, right? Like they announced Palpatine was coming back because so this is all a pivot from Last Jedi, and they were like, oh, that was a really polarizing movie. We're going to make the safest movie possible and thus make nobody happy with this final one.
So yeah, I do want to get into how this movie even came to be, because I mean it's pretty like it's also very sad, because obviously how it was originally laid out was, I think everyone knows at this point, is that the first one was going to be Harrison Ford's movie, then you have Mark Hamill, then you have Carrie Fisher. So it was going to be 7, 8, 9. It was laid out like that. They did 7 and 8, and unfortunately Carrie Fisher very sadly passed away, I think just after filming 2, or the second one I should say, so number 8 technically. And so they didn't have anything. So she was meant to lead this movie, and now suddenly not only has Rian Johnson stepped away, Colin Trevorrow, who's meant to direct it, he's no longer directing it, and then J.J. Abrams gets drafted in, and they have to basically rewrite the whole script because it was meant to be very heavily relying on Leia.
Yeah, and then she appears in this movie but only in archive and reused footage of stuff that was like filmed for Last Jedi and it was never used. Yeah,
and I think it's very obvious.
It is.
It's very NPC dialogue.
It's very... There's other dialogue written around what she's already said, and it doesn't flow at all, really. No,
and look, that it's also something that you can't really attack the movie on, because obviously they also didn't want the poor woman to pass away. So,
of course.
Like, what can we do?
The question then becomes like, is it better to do that, or is it better to, in universe, she died off screen? Like, what's the better not more respectful, but I suppose the better send-off for the character.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I don't really know. Like it all kind of comes back to the scripting, how you write around it, what you want to do. Like you can have Leia be the driving force of this movie, but you don't have any. You have weird shots from The Force Awakens that you can use, that you can change the green screen on. You can move the scripting around. Rey's having scenes with her, and Daisy Ridley is just like saying very weird lines that make no sense just because they have very specific lines that they have pre-recorded of her saying.
Like every actor got shafted with lines that make no sense in this movie.
Oh, the scripting is atrocious. One of the worst scripts ever put to film.
Yeah, and it's in a fucking Star Wars film. Like,
they had so much money.
But I don't know. I feel with the Carrie Fisher stuff, you could have opened it with like in the title crawl, General Organa has died, you know, and then you open on her funeral and it's this whole big thing. Oh, and it mirrors Padme's funeral from episode 3. Oh, it would be so good. I
mean, you could do that. So, obviously, what you also have is with Carrie Fisher sadly passing away, so you have to change the whole plot line. By the way, do you know the budget of this movie?
200 million?
$416 million it cost. Now, it did make $1 billion, so technically...
So it just about doubled... its budget is what you're
profit. Pure profit.
Easy profit. Now marketing, when you factor marketing into things, how does that work?
You might make about 400 million in profit. That's pretty good. I'd take that. I would take 400 million myself.
I wouldn't do it for me now. Again, that gets taxed, sure.
Not with the current rate of rent, boys. Oh jeez.
Oh yeah, 2 months in Dublin, huh?
So look, what's been talked to death is obviously all that stuff. What's also been talked to death is the fact of the villain of this movie. Shaun, how do you feel about the villain of this movie?
Look, Ian McDiarmid as an actor, he's given it his all. He is fully in this, and I respect the hell out of him for that. But this was the worst thing they could have done. And also, and I can't stress this enough, they announced it in Fortnite. That's how they announced the Emperor was coming back. They announced it through Fortnite.
I forgot the Fortnite thing.
Yeah, it was a tie-in, and they thought it would be a good idea. And the opening crawl is like, oh, it's broadcast across the galaxy. It was broadcast in Fortnite.
Yeah, across the galaxy. Where does Fortnite take place? In the galaxy, right? Come on now.
This might be the start of the jingling keys in movies. It's like, here's this thing you like.
This is the most jingly of keys in terms of... I think this is worse than Krasinski.
Big time it's worse than Krasinski.
Way worse than Krasinski. They just are like, people like this guy. This is actually so interesting because Star Wars, the original ones, I would always say the fourth one is a movie and then 5 and 6 go together. So you can watch the fourth one and then 5 and 6 are like a duo. And then with this one, I would say it's the opposite. So 7 and 8 are a duo. You watch the first one, you got to get to the second one. It ends with Rey handing Luke the lightsaber, and the second one ends. And if you just watch 7 and 8, that's a movie. That's fine. That's like a perfect story in terms of anyone could be a Jedi. And then 9 comes along, which is really weird for a third one that's meant to finish a trilogy to be like the one that doesn't connect to either of the other two.
Yeah, it's the worst possible way of doing that. But also there's so many loose threads now that are just tied up and are really unsatisfying. But he also unties some threads that were finished in the middle one, like the idea of Rey being no one, which we've established is our favourite thing in that trilogy.
That it's fascinating. Like, genuinely, I'm not even mad. Like, people get mad about this. I'm genuinely fascinated how they came to that conclusion that was better. Like, the fact that even if you're bringing Palpatine back, why does he have to be connected to Rey? He can just be Palpatine.
If you're bringing Palpatine back, at least just have him be just the villain again. Like, he doesn't need a series of clones and one of the clones had a kid and then that kid is Rey. It's way more interesting if Rey is nobody.
Well, even the end of this movie, when she says, "Oh, I'm Rey Skywalker," like,
she doesn't give a fuck about her name.
It's just so stupid. Just like, it's just, if you went to any script writing class and you were doing the story, you would just end it where she says, I'm just Ray. Because she said that all through all three movies. And then it ends with her finally accepting the fact that she's just Ray. And that's perfect for her. She doesn't need to be anybody.
I would have preferred if she was a Kenobi or something, like, and that was the reveal. But the Palpatine thing is just edge on edge.
I think the Kenobi reveal is still jingling keys. I think any reveal is jingling keys because it's, you know that name? Yeah, you like that name? Yeah, you do? Oh, she's going to be connected to them.
Just get really confusing with it. Like, it's my name is Ray Yoda. Ray Adimundi.
Ray Adimundi.
Ray Grievous.
I'm Ray General Akbar.
Admiral Akbar, Conor, please.
I do apologise.
He commands a fleet.
There's a very good funny line in this movie that Poe and Finn, we'll get to them now soon enough, but Poe and Finn, when Poe gets put in charge and then he's like, Finn, I can't do this all by myself, like, you're gonna have to lead me, and then he's like, evening general, and the two of them look at each other and I'm like, that's a funny line between these two idiots that I really enjoy.
That feels like a new girl interaction.
That feels, that's the highest praise we can give. But, like, or even the bit at the start when they're playing I'm going to say this wrong, space chess with Chewie.
Dvorak, is that what it's called?
Whatever, space chess, right? And so they're playing that and then the two of them are just like, make your move, he always beats us. I don't know how he always beats us. And then it's like, oh well, he's 200 million years old. Of course he always beats us.
Yeah,
I like that. That's fun. It's stupid. Poe and Finn are very charismatic together. They work very well, and it's just, obviously in every other aspect of the film they get completely shafted, especially Finn. But
Finn gets done in.
Absolutely killed. Fucking killed. Like, if you're going to give out about anything in Star Wars, it's not that like there's not enough white people. It's like, wow, that black guy should be a main character. Like,
and he was for a while.
Why did we give him the coolest backstory and then not do anything with it?
It never comes up that he's a stormtrooper. They meet like the other people on the island, and they're also First Order. If
they're ex-stormtroopers, and they're like, oh, we dropped our guns because we didn't believe in everything, and I'm like, you guys are the most interesting people in this whole story. And then it's just kind of passed over, and then at the end, it's fine. Is that Lando's daughter?
It's yeah, I guess. Might as well. Like, who cares? Who cares?
Is Finn the worst character? That's a very big statement, but it's one of the worst character developments in a trilogy I've ever seen.
He's an example of he is the character with the most wasted potential in the Star Wars universe, I think.
This movie is complete wasted potential. Like,
this movie is a complete waste of time. It's
a waste of time, but also it's annoying because the everyone involved very talented.
Yeah.
Even how it looks, like that fucking water planet when they go to get the thingamajig, the MacGuffin, to get the other MacGuffin, right?
Oh, we'll
That's
get to that.
A cool planet, right? Even like, it's a cool settings, it's cool ideas, it's things that would look really good. A really cool bit. This is the best example I can give. Rey, she does that backflip over Kylo's ship when he's like flying down behind her, and she like backflips over and like slices the wing off. That is like one of the coolest things in Star Wars. Unfortunately, it's in the scene that makes so little sense. What was her plan? She just walks into the middle of nowhere, and everyone's like, "Look, Rey, we need to get out of here. They're right here." And she's like, "Don't worry about this, guys. I'm going to walk into this big open area."
And then it's followed by one of the dumbest scenes and one of the worst examples of false emotion that I've ever seen in a script, where Rey is trying to pull down the fucking prison carrier that's carrying Chewbacca, and it explodes, and we mourn him on screen. There's a beat where it's like, be sad for Chewbacca now, and then The next scene.
And then Poe's like, we gotta get out of here, fuck him. It's grand.
To forget about him. We gotta go.
There are 5 fake out deaths in this movie that I could count. So we got Chewie, that's the big one. C-3PO, he has obviously he's gone forever and then he's back. Great stuff.
Babu Freak is great. That's what I'll give this movie.
Wow,
Babu Freak
fantastic.
is great.
So yeah, we got those two. Rey has the fake out death scene. Kylo Ren's first fake out death scene. Then Kylo Ren's second fake out death scene when he falls down the big pit. In the fight with Palpatine. And then Rey's fake out death scene when Kylo brings her back to life. There are 5 fake out death scenes in this movie. That's almost too many fake death scenes. I would say one is enough if you're going to do it.
2 people died in this movie. The old man and the bad guy.
And the bad guy who wanted to die.
Yeah, who's wanted to die from the start. He inherited that from his father, Harrison Ford.
And the old man also wanted to die.
Yeah. We're skipping ahead a bit, but the bit where all of the past Jedi talk to Rey.
Yeah, what did you think of that now, looking back on it?
Looking back, I like it. I think it's a good scene. Baffles me why they didn't get Force Ghosts in for that. Because if you're going to cash in on that, just fucking cash in on it.
You might as well. Maybe you have to pay them more if you do it.
Maybe. And I guess, but also, $480 million for this movie? You're telling me you couldn't find the money to do that?
Give them all $1 million each for just standing and being a Force Ghost.
And, I'll be honest, all of those actors seem really up for returning and have returned in other projects. So I can't imagine it would have been a big issue to get even some of them back.
Like you had Hayden Christensen, Samuel L. Jackson, Hugh McGregor, Liam Neeson, Mark Hamill, Freddie Prinze Jr. was there, Frank Oz playing Yoda. They had Sarah Guinness with the archive audio. Yeah,
some of the cast of Rebels was in there as well. It would have been a better moment if you stand up and she's all the Jedi behind her.
Yeah,
that's how you do that scene.
Once again, to getting there is so dumb, and the idea is dumb. And even at that point, we're still like, you could make this scene half decent by having the ghost behind her, and they still don't do that.
And yes, and the movie up until then is not good. The knife. Can we talk about the knife? The knife is the worst.
The big MacGuffin.
So they go to a snake pit to find the Sith artifact.
That's the worst. Hang on. That planet is the worst because they don't actually do anything proactively. Things just keep happening that move things on. Lando turns up, tells them where to go. They go where they're meant to go. But then a big fucking sand pit drags them underneath the ground, and then suddenly they're in the right area. There's a snake there. She heals the snake. He blows a hole in the wall. They go through there. They're fucking laughing.
The Force healing as well is that before this movie came out, that had never been addressed. That was never a thing. And then in The Mandalorian, like the week before this movie came out, Grogu does Force healing for the first time. So they're like, it's in universe, don't worry about it, you can just do it.
That would have really helped previous movies.
Oh, do you remember Qui-Gon got stabbed in the fucking stomach?
He did.
Bit of Force healing might help there.
Jeez, you could have fucking... Well, then Ewan McGregor would have died, though, if you look at it like that.
You know what? No, I'm not going to finish that sentence.
What? And they could have brought back Darth Maul. He could bring himself... Can you bring yourself back?
They did bring back Darth Maul.
Well, they did, and he fell down the big pit, and Qui-Gon just lay there like a little bitch,
like a bitch boy, like a little bitch boy.
All he got was one little stab. Darth Maul, 2 stabs, fell down a big hole. Grand.
That man's been cut in half 3 times, I think.
And he's grand. He walks it off. Well, with his robot legs, but he walks it off.
Yeah, he has weird spider legs for a while. It's fuck.
Don't worry about it. There's so many things that I want to ask your opinion on that are quite bad.
Fair. Do you want to give me a list of them and I'll give you my initial responses?
If you had something specific you want to touch on
I was going to say, I like the idea of going to the ruins of the Death Star. I think that's quite cool. What I think is the most thunderously dumb thing that's ever been put to film is how the special evil magic knife that has coordinates carved on it also has a little bit that you pull out and rotate, and then if you hold it up to the horizon just right, it points a big fucking arrow at the place you're meant to go to. And she just happens to end up on that one spot.
And then Kylo Ren destroys the thing, and she's like, oh, don't worry about it, I have another one.
Yeah. It's fine, don't worry about it, there's two.
What's the point?
What's the point in any of it?
90 minutes of our lives, and you're still like, and Kylo destroys it. She's like, no! And then she's like, oh, hang on, actually, now that I think about it, I'm actually glad.
And they just strapped the Death Star laser onto a fleet of a bajillion Star Destroyers.
And like, and Poe Dameron just goes, of course they did.
Yeah.
And that's all that's explained.
And it's like, okay, I guess the stakes are raised sufficiently now.
Because I don't even like, I'm not even involved emotionally in this Star Wars thing, and I'm like, that seems like a weird way to say that sentence.
Yeah.
Like, so many deliveries in this movie, I was like, those words are not good.
No.
What you've just said there is actually possibly the worst way you could have delivered that exposition. But you did it. Fair play to you.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
That is... See, you said the dumbest thing ever put to screen was the map, but I think the dumbest thing ever put to screen was the somehow Palpatine returns. But
it's up there, for sure.
You gotta love the audacity of it, that they were like rewriting this script, and they were like, oh fuck, what are we gonna do, JJ? And he's just like, what if we just put somehow? What if we he listened to some of our Hero Zeros, and he was like, comics do it all the time. What if it was just
back? Don't worry about it.
Shut the fuck up.
And Snoke was a big clone the whole time, so don't worry about any of that shit.
Yeah, Snoke was awful. A dickhead. Nobody likes Snoke.
Also, it's criminal what this movie did to Kelly Marie Tran. Just sidelines her completely.
Yeah. I don't think we talked about that enough in the original review, but it is genuinely disgusting, the fact that they wouldn't put her in this movie because of the backlash. Mostly because just dickheads being dickheads. She was the first victim, I think, of Manny that have happened since in the preceding years.
She was targeted online. Had to delete all social media, I believe. Yeah. Just because of the hate she received from
Now, we talked about The Last Jedi. And we were talking about her character specifically, and the scene with Finn at the end is incredibly stupid, right? The scene where like she declares her love and he's about to kill himself, and you're like, this is the worst scene in the whole movie. This is really bad. However, I'm going to say something controversial here and say I don't think the woman Kelly Marie Tran was involved in scripting that scene.
No, I think most actors are hired to do a job and then do that job.
Yeah, I have seen Steven Seagal in some of the worst scenes ever put to screen, and I think he's a dickhead not because of those scenes, but because of other things he said and done.
A whole bunch of other stuff going on.
But I would never message him and be like, you're a dickhead because you did that karate chop in that one movie in 2007.
Now, I would message him and say you're a dickhead for everything else about
For everything else, not associated with your movies. Your movies are actually probably the best bit.
Can I have a brief tangent?
Go for it.
There's a channel on YouTube called Bobby Fingers, and it's this is again niche. Do you know the Rubber Bandits? I
know the Rubber Bandits. Yes,
they're an Irish semi-comedy hip-hop duo, but one of the guys is called Blind Boy. He has a podcast. There's another guy called Mr. Chrome. Mr. Chrome is Bobby Fingers, and he makes model dioramas of scenes from pop culture. And he made a scene of when Steven Seagal got choke slammed on set that one time, and he has a whole video constructing it. It's fantastic. He did another one when Mel Gibson got arrested on a DUI. He made a whole diorama of that. You'd get a kick out of it. I think you'd like it. Back to Star Wars. It was tenuously related. Steven Seagal was brought up.
I mean, Kelly Marie Tran in this movie, by the way, Rose, is just like, you want to come along? No, I have things to do.
Yeah.
And then it's like, at the end, oh no, Finn, better get out. go away, Rose. I'm going to make the ultimate sacrifice.
I think it's 19 lines of dialogue for a character that was like Finn's co-star, essentially. Like all the Finn's, you know, that whole fucking casino planet and arc. She had her whole arc with her sister in that movie. Like,
and it's not a good arc, but that doesn't matter.
No, but you can't just sideline someone that hard because a couple of pricks online got butthurt about it.
Yeah, and especially if you're going to produce this movie, the only way you get away with it is if you produce a fucking banger of a film and then everyone's like, oh, she wasn't in it, I didn't even notice. But to produce dog shit and then be like, wow, they really fucked her over as well, in amongst the dog shit.
I feel like there was a discussion about they wanted to kill her off and they thought there'd be too much backlash.
I think that shows JJ in a very bad light. Because you're just basically like going along with everything. I mean, the Mary Sue things for Ray, like that's outrageous as well. Because everything she does in this movie, she like does everything wrong. Like she makes loads of mistakes in this movie. The whole point of the plot is that she has to like be like, oh, I actually don't have a fucking clue what I'm doing at all most of the time.
Yeah, and she's just muddling her way through, despite the fact she was very capable. And spent 2 movies becoming capable in the last one. They showed that weird like training thing at the start as if like, oh, she has to practice being a fucking Jedi. And it's like, just have her be the character she was. Don't backpedal because of poor reception.
Because everyone was saying, oh, we never seen her train. Why is she so good? Which, I mean, we see Luke train for like half a second with a ball.
Anakin was literally born Jesus. Like...
And everyone's just like, you're Jesus, you don't need to train, don't worry about it,
you'll be fine, don't worry. Oh, he's Darth Vader now? Oh fuck.
So, and also like you never see Luke Skywalker train. Like between 5 and 6 they're like, oh, he's got off training, but where's he training? Sure, Yoda's dead, isn't he, at that stage? Like
there's a deleted scene where he makes a lightsaber in a cave and that's it. It's not even in the movie.
He's just training by himself.
But he's just a fucking Jedi master by the time he gets back. So technically,
after this one, she comes back, and if we go off the logic, she's been training with Leia for a year. Like, she should be a billion times better at what Luke was.
Yeah.
In number 6.
Yeah, if they just want to capture what those original movies did, she should have come back with a yellow lightsaber. And she had made it herself, and she was her own person. And then if you want to do the Palpatine twist, at least she can fall back on being her own person. Or you do the plot line
of her basically trying to always just be Luke, and then she loses maybe halfway through the film, and then you got the big suit up scene at the end where she makes her own fucking yellow lightsaber and she walks into the final
like
fight.
The staff that she's always fought with.
And then walks in and they're like, you can't be somebody else. You gotta be Rey.
Yeah.
You can't be a Skywalker or a Kenobi. You are just Rey. You be yourself. And then, I mean, anyone could be a Jedi, and we're all grand. But none of that happened.
No, I feel like the Rey centric, like New Jedi Academy movie that they're doing. I feel like that's more of a carry on from Episode 8 than Episode 9, because Episode 8 ends with like, oh, there's a bunch of kids who are Force sensitive who'll get some training.
Yeah,
like I feel and that's more of a thematic successor.
So like in that movie, is if she turns up and she's fucking unreal, which she probably should.
Yeah.
If she turns up and she's unreal, is there backlash?
I think there's going to be backlash anyway. No, I also don't think that movie's coming out.
No, probably not. There's backlash no matter what you do. You give her too many powers. You've given her too many. You don't give her enough powers. Oh, she's fucking being lucky and she's surviving everything. You give her just a mediocre amount of powers. Why isn't she more powerful? Luke would have finished this by now. So,
how do you feel as well about the Poe Dameron backstory planet?
Yeah, that's bad as well.
Isn't it? It's just not good, and they're all laughing at him for trading spice or something.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's fine, but like, I don't understand what the point of it is.
It's just, I feel like there was a Poe Dameron movie in the works, and they were like, "Oh, this won't work," but we need 18 pages of a script. So JJ was just like,
it's so annoying because like Poe Dameron, played by Oscar Isaac, is such a fucking good character. that you can use in hundreds of ways. And Finn, especially with him, two amazing characters. And then you throw Ray in, you've got a fucking great trio there that you could put in any situations and they'd be really, really funny, engaging, and just like really good balance as well to them. That like Poe's really capable, Finn is trying to like come back from what he did in the past, and Ray's just trying to figure it out, but she's like the most powerful of them. And you have that really good dynamic, never explored, kind of explored slightly, but like they just say one-liners to each other, they just say quips back and forth.
Yeah, they're just quipping at each other. They fly now, like that kind of shit. Like
it's just quipping. That's all it is. And so there's never any of that build-up where you're like, oh, these people like each other.
Yeah, they could all just be... They're just co-workers in this movie.
Which you don't want, because Finn and Poe should be best friends. And to be honest with you, I think like Finn and Ray never get any scenes together, which is so weird, because like they're meant to also be really good friends.
Because it would also like... So Poe as well... So Finn and Ray should have more scenes together that aren't about Finn having to tell something to Ray and wanting to tell something to Ray.
I have to tell you something.
Are they in love, or is it a Jedi, or what the fuck? But Poe Dameron, in every one of these movies, learns that he can't be a hot-headed pilot and he needs to step up and be a leader.
Over and over again.
Like, do you not think Ray might also have some of those feelings as the last Jedi? Like, surely they would have things to talk about and could learn from each other aspects of leadership.
I have a theory on this though. Yeah. And this is my theory that I have spouted to you many times, is that Oscar Isaac the man has sexual chemistry with every single person in this cast. In any scene he's in with anyone, it kind of seems like he wants to have sex with them. And I think they were terrified of putting him and Ray in the same scene, because everyone's like, who the fuck is Finn? I mean,
would that be
she
so
should
bad?
Have sex. But like, look, because Oscar Isaac the man, he just can't help it. Like, he's in a scene with Finn, I'm like, these two would make beautiful lovers. Like, they're boyfriend and boyfriend waiting to be had. But then he gets into a scene with Ray in this movie and they have like a bickering, and I'm like, you know what, there's chemistry there as well. I just think Oscar Isaac the actor has chemistry with everyone sexually, and it's a weird situation to put him in any scene with anybody.
But if you wanted to introduce an element of conflict, interpersonal conflict, into a plot, surely that's a good thing to add into that film, so that at least there's some level of interaction between any of the cast.
See, I don't know if a love triangle would have been better, but I do understand what you're saying, and that at least it's something.
A New Hope had a love triangle. Empire had a love triangle. Until, once they figured out the whole lineage thing.
It got even more lovable triangle. It got stronger. No, I think I don't mind the idea. Ray shouldn't end up with any of them. But like,
no.
And
the Ray
I think
Kylo thing as well, their little romancy thing, I never loved that.
No, I don't think that's good either. Like, if she's going to end up with anyone, it should be Finn.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it like that, like her and Kylo, I just don't really get that at all.
No, and
just very brother sister vibes off them. So I just never got that. It's the opposite of the Oscar Isaac effect.
Yeah, and it's not. They're both very good actors, but they're just written completely at odds to each other. Like, there's nothing shared.
But not in like the sitcom of like, oh, they're at odds, but they're secretly in love. No, genuinely, I'm just like, oh yeah, they're brother and sister, and they're like hang out, but they're definitely not romantically involved.
Yeah. Can you answer me this? Because I still don't know. What are the Knights of Ren?
Just lads.
Just lads
out in the town. They got given swords, and one
lad has an axe.
Yeah, they have an axe. The Knights of Ren are Kylo Ren's private security in the comic books, but in the movies themselves, we only ever see them protecting Snoke and or Palpatine, and they never actually protect him.
Yeah, they're an enclave of masked dark side warriors that adhere to the ways of the Ren, a religious philosophy epitomized by the lightsaber. Okay.
All right.
Ren. Oh! Ren was a lightsaber.
Oh!
Wielded by the force-sensitive human male known as Ren, who gained the name Ren from his predecessor, who was also presumably named Ren. And then Ben Solo found it or something? This is awful. Darth Vader was a bad guy.
Yeah.
Knights... there shouldn't be a fucking 24-page Wikipedia article to understand the bad guys.
I don't need a Wikipedia article to tell me what's happened if you do a movie good. Then I could look up Wikipedia to add some layers and go, oh, that's interesting, but you're going to have to tell me specifically in the movie what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, but it's just a mystery box that was never explored, which is wild because JJ introduced it and then never followed up.
Well, actually, even though he did
wild.
number 9 because he didn't realise he was going to have to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck's sake.
The lads will figure that out, don't worry.
The boys will do that and they'll just do their own thing, it's fine.
But they're still working under that logic to this day as they make new Star Wars projects.
It's you know what? I actually think it's one of the most interesting things ever. There's a documentary in that. In how, like, you call it How Star Wars Fell or something.
Yeah.
That, like, but then you have to kind of grasp with the concept Star Wars was never really that good. But it was just like...
No, it's not. It's made for children.
But it was like a cultural phenomenon that, like, blew up and everyone just loves it. And then you're like, great, but the content itself was... It's fine. It's pretty good. Prequels... I mean, we've talked about them to death. I wouldn't call them the highest standard of movie, but but people love them because it's their childhood. It's the nostalgia, and especially with the 80s. And then they had children, and then they showed their kids the prequels, and then the cycle continues
done it again. Yeah. But like, there's it's when. It's one of those properties, and I mean this in a very nice way, and it resonates with a lot of people clearly, but people can make it a core part of their personality. True. Liking Star Wars and identifying with Star Wars. To the point where those become your biggest fans, and so if you disappoint them, they will also be the most vocal opponents to any kind of a change. Whereas the majority of the public no Star Wars exists, and it's about space, and it's a movie. Yeah. So, and that's really who you're going for, because the big fans will always show up.
Because even now, like, you hear the thing of, oh, when did they make Star Wars political? I'm like, lad,
yeah,
like it's always like, who do you think the bad guys are?
Yeah, they're the Empire. Like, there's an interview with George Lucas and. The rebels in A New Hope, they're literally like the Viet Cong. Like,
he wrote about and that's why it's so funny. Like, this has gone woke. Don't be telling me about I'm like, George Lucas wrote this specifically because he was against the Vietnam War. And he was like, we're the baddies. You're not supposed. It's always been political. Like, it's. I don't know, man. But now it's women being political, Conor. Well, the women is the problem now, right? Well, I mean, Finn got a lot of hate, but then they had a woman in the movie and she got more hate. Yeah. So we know the order.
There's an order of what people will accept.
There's an order that it goes down. So Poe got the least of the three of them because he's like, he might have a slightly darker shaded skin, but he's Poe, you know what I mean? You get away Oscar Isaac. Finn, next down the list. Yeah. Full on hatred. But then there was a woman who was a fucking hero. And she knew things. And I wasn't big on that.
And the idea as well of like... this is the most pandery movie in the world. Because it does nothing.
I actually think we talked about that it's written by a server.
Yeah, it's written by committee. Honestly, if AI had been bigger at the time, I would have suspected it was written by AI.
It's apparently story by Derek Connolly, Colin Trevorrow, J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. Now, it says that, but like, I know Colin Trevorrow, his whole plot is out there somewhere originally of what he wanted to do, but the story is by the four of them. But to me, it's just someone read a Twitter page of all the things that everyone hated about 8, of like all of the worst people, and they were like, oh well, we'll undo all of that stuff and we'll give everybody what they want. And then when they did that, I was like, oh, well, this is actually not what because everyone's like, wouldn't it be great if Palpatine returned as like a laugh? Because I know even Conor was like, Palpatine's returned, I love Palpatine. And you're like, yeah, but as the story, you should be in charge of the story if you're writing the story, not letting the people enjoying the story lead you to a plot.
Yeah, you should... You and again, we've said this from the start. If you had planned out episodes 7, 8 and 9 and it's first act, second act, third act of an overall story, then once it's planned out and you don't deviate from that too much, the ending is going to be satisfying. But at the minute, because you were just on the back foot and being reactionary the whole time, nothing that really happens in The Force Awakens actually matters in the last movie. Like, you could just jump in on that last movie and get the same experience, really. Yeah.
The best example I can give, and terrible man, right? Joss Whedon, right?
Uh-huh.
Bad, right?
Bad dude.
But Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV show, Sean.
Yes,
right?
One of your favourites.
Whenever
you said
Joss
you'd excuse
is
anything for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I will, because it's one of the best written shows, right? It does the absolute opposite of what we're talking about here, in that Joss, for all his fucking terrible things, the motherfucker can write a story, but also he'll just grab it and be like, we're going this way, and you just basically hang on. It's not like, wouldn't it be nice if... he just kills people off. Like, there's so many times in that whole series, or Game of Thrones, or anything like that, where you're like, oh man, I really love this character, and people are like, oh, wouldn't it be great? And then you're like, season 2, season 3, they're fucking dead. They're just dead. And
but their deaths matter. Like, there is
their deaths matter, and everybody is fucking devastated. But you're devastated, but you're also like, as the story progresses, you're like, you get back into it. Whereas if you give a movie or a TV show, if you gave Game of Thrones to a survey, Ned Stark never dies. Robb Stark nobody ever dies. Because... yeah,
nothing ever changes. Because
nothing ever changes because they want all the nice people to win. And so all the bad guys, season 1, all the bad people get killed, and then all the good guys win, and everyone's fucking happy. And that's grand. It's not a plot. That's just you basically going along with what the masses want, because we're mostly idiots. Whereas you should be the one to be like, no, we're going to kill Ned Stark early. And we're going to go with this. And if you're doing the books or if you're doing the TV show, whichever way you want to do it, you're like, this is what we're going to do. Robb Stark, Red Wedding. Like, everyone watches that scene and goes, this is the worst, best thing I've ever watched. But if you asked anyone before that season, they'd be like, you can't kill Robb. Rob's the main character.
This is the thing, like, there's no reason that people should like horror movies as much as they do. Being scared is not a good state to be in. But people enjoy the experience of a movie making them feel something, or a TV show making them feel something that they wouldn't otherwise feel in their life. So, and it's in a very safe way. It's like, it's not real, but you can still experience that emotion. And like, if you asked, design the perfect experience for a human, that wouldn't involve being scared,
But there's no drama there. Like, a great example is number 8 in episode 8. Like, Luke's death is really well done. It's fucking great.
Yeah, I love that. That's how he should die.
Super sad, but also super fucking cool. And you're like, he's dead, but you feel fucking pride because you're like, yeah, that's my guy. He saved everyone, even with his last thing. Fair play to him.
Yeah, and like, I know, like, Leia has her death in this movie, and I know circumstances dictate
you can't do anything about that.
That had to be a certain way. But the idea that people couldn't handle the movies not being like the original trilogy, and like, Rey has to be someone, and like, that's what's wrong with the movie to me.
What's wrong with the movie is you are not doing the movie, you're reacting to what other people are telling you what you should do with the movie.
Yeah,
which is different.
The fans are not professional screenwriters. You are.
Like, we are complete idiots. But, like, not even just in movies. If you ask 1,000 people anything, how often will they all be correct? And if they all agree on something, most of the time it's like, yeah, okay, well, like, I don't think murder should happen. Like, okay, fair enough. But, like, you're not going to get an interesting plot line in terms of creatively by asking 1,000 people what they think should happen. Because you get paid to write that script creatively. And you should be in that role because of that.
But it feels like the script, every scene was written by different Reddit commenters, because every scene is doing a different thing that doesn't actually work for the larger story.
Yeah, like, I mean, all I can think of is, was a good scene in this. Oh, Luke and Leia having Jedi fights I like that scene. I think that's interesting, and it's nice. And that's good stuff. But you have a scene like that, you can get away with that because that's kind of a flashback. But you can't bring that kind of energy into every scene in the movie. It's because that stands out more if the rest of the movie is its own thing. And you're like, oh, here's a cool scene from back then.
Yeah, and that's still cashing in on nostalgia. Like, I think I've gone back and forth on this, and I think I've landed on, I think it's dumb. But the scene at the end where they're in the Outer Rim and they have to shut down the thing on the ships, but the thing can move around to different ships, and they ride horses across the ships, and then Lando shows up with all of the the truck drivers and the taxi cabs of the space world. I think it's so unearned, all of that. It's
the opposite of the ending of 8 when it's like anyone could be a Jedi. It's kind of like, it's going for that same vibe of like anyone can step up, and anyone they want us to, and like it's the right idea but really terribly executed.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's still our 3 main heroes are going to save everything.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of the movie, it's genuinely, it's one of those movies that's fascinating the more you look into it. It's just that, like, you had such good concepts and you had all the money in the world, and you could have just done anything. And this is, because in a world of endless possibilities, if this is what you come up with, then you're like, but there were so many other things that were very obvious that you could have done, that maybe me and you we're not very smart, but even we're like, that's kind of silly. You could just, even at the end, call her Ray. There, problem solved.
Yeah, what's your name? Ray who? Oh, just Ray.
It doesn't change any of the rest of the plot, but that scene, individually, that scene is made 10 times better. Yeah.
I think, it's been a while since I've seen it. I think there was groans in the cinema when that happened.
Yeah.
Like, Ray Skywalker, come on.
It's just cheesy. It's just like...
Just bury those lightsabers 2 feet under the ground as well, that's fine.
Anyone can find them, don't worry.
Sand doesn't move in the desert.
The pacing... I want to talk about the pacing because that's where the scripting really comes into show, because you can clearly see that they need to get from one place to the next place to the next place to the next place. You never see a ship take off, you never see a ship land. They're just in a different place straight away. They're flying through it because they need to get things on. Now, how I would normally describe that is, why that happens is when you have somebody or some people writing a script that don't have time to world build and build out the story, that you end up with them being like, well, we need to get to here and we're here, so let's just really speed run the middle bit and we'll get to there,
and let's do it on another sand planet that's different from the other sand planets we've been to before.
And everyone's talking like really fucking cardboard cutouts of sayings to each other, and there's a chase scene, but it's like, it's fine. I
like as well how hard they had to write out, because Dominic Monaghan, whoever his character's name is like, why don't we just do the Admiral Holdo thing and just fly a ship through it? And they're like, no, it's a 1 in a million shot. We're lucky it worked that one time.
The coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
We can't do it again.
Can never do it again. It won't work. Don't worry about it.
I mean, to be fair, I think he was just trying to like kill himself. Like, he was like, I'll fucking do it, lads.
I want to be out of here, honestly.
Give me a ship. Palpatine's going to kill us all. I'm not willing to bow down to him.
He's a withered, gross old man in this movie, and I kind of like that. Like, I like that the clone body is all fucked up and weird.
And by the way, we're saying all this, and you have like everyone in there, like Ian McDermott playing him, does a great job, but he shouldn't be there. There's no reason a different thing.
He should be in there. And again, I feel, and this is real cynical, but I feel like they brought him out at like D23, which is right before their like investors meeting, and they're like, we're bringing back the most popular villain from the most popular movies into this movie. Give us some money, please.
You like that, you idiots, don't you?
Yeah, so I think some of that was probably going on as well.
And Donald Gleeson as Hook's completely ruined.
Yeah, I like the bit where he's like, I don't need to win, I just need him to lose.
True, but I also think that character is so interesting in 7. Such a good concept. In 8 they make him a bit of a joke, and then in this one he's just dead in the water. And
he's fully a joke as well. Like he's
just ruined. I mean, we talked about John Boyega. Adam Driver is excellent in this movie.
As he is in most things.
Adam Driver's very good at acting, and he's excellent, and he's going to win an Oscar at some stage soon. But he's so good as Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren is a fucking great character. Written not great in this movie, as everyone is, but the scene with him and Harrison Ford is an excellent scene. It is
fantastic. What's real dumb is that they put the helmet back on him.
Oh yeah, that's
like, that was the bit where it's like, oh, they're just fully going back on the last movie.
They're just like completely reverting everything that they made up in the last. Do you think JJ's is like, Ryan, what are you doing? Like,
we
that's
need
ridiculous.
A cool helmet.
Yeah,
like, but like, you have, if you want to sell cool helmets, you got all the Knights of Ren. They all have helmets.
Isn't that how trilogies work? You can't just be like, alright, free reign, you do the second one, and then be like, actually no, I didn't want to do anything that you just did.
Yeah, I don't like that. That doesn't work for me. Because
alternatively, you could have just told them what you were going to do, or thinking of doing, and then he could tell you, and then you could kind of work it out to make sure it makes sense, but they didn't do any of that.
But so many people had to sign off on episode 8 that, like, there's no excuse for winding it all back. This was approved so many times, all of this. It's fucking Star Wars.
It's just people complained about things, which now looking back, and I think we've looked back on number 8, I think 8 is fucking, I think it's got some of the best bits ever put on screen.
I think we described it as, it's like, it's high highs and some low lows, but overall
it's got some dog shit, but it's got like, I always say it's got like 3 of the top 10 Star Wars scenes of all time in it.
Yeah. So I don't think, I think it's very insulting to just walk back so much of the stuff that was established there.
Yeah. Oh man, we could actually talk about this movie for like 3 hours. I mean,
we'll get Connor Martin back in, and we can. The
concept behind destroying Star Wars is, if you told anyone like 15 years ago, oh, they'll kill Star Wars, like Star Wars will be dead in like 20 years as a concept.
People will think it's dumb.
People will just not watch it. Like, there'll be a show about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and nobody will watch it, or people will, and they won't really like it.
There's a show that ends with, spoilers I guess, but it's cancelled, so it doesn't matter. There's a show that ends with the reveal of, they're going to show Darth Plagueis and what he's about, and that gets cancelled after one season because no one watched it.
Don't worry about it. Like, people just have stopped tuning into any of this stuff
because it's oversaturated and it's slop.
This is the most slop that's ever slopped.
Yeah, and this is the start of it for me, of where it's just so much of, you'll watch anything, won't you?
And it's a complete waste of such a great cast.
Yeah.
Like, you have so many good people there that you could do such great... Like, John Boyega as Finn is one of the best ideas ever come up with in Star Wars, and it's completely ruined.
Yeah, no, that man got hardcore shafted by Disney.
And I think Rey as a character is really good. Like, I think she goes through that learning phase, and still then she's like, I'm not good enough. I think that's really interesting. Like, that's such a good concept for a hero to be like, I'm still kind of shit because I'm comparing myself to like the greatest of all time that came before me.
Yeah, and they need the like. Oh, you're not going to be Luke Skywalker, and you probably shouldn't be. Like
that plot line was looking them directly in the face, and they just were like, "No, we're not doing that. She's a Palpatine.
She has to be a Palpatine." Do you think they're going to call her like Master Palpatine in the new movies?
Jeez, I hope fucking not. No, she's just Rey Skywalker. Master Skywalker should be called.
True.
Also, that idea of like she wants to compare herself to Luke, and she's trying to constantly. And Leia's like, "You just be you. You don't need to be him." Gives her the blessing, and like. I'm sure there's a fucking clip of Leia being like, "You just be you," like somewhere that you're gonna use, and she's like, "Actually, no, you're right." And then Finn and Poe are like, "You don't have to be him. Like, you can be somebody else. You can be a new version of him."
Luke fucked up a lot of stuff in this universe.
Yeah,
so you can just figure it out. You know, be the Jedi for the nobodies. You know,
and use your staff. Use that staff and swing it about.
Staff was way cooler. And then, like, in the final fight, and you can still do the nostalgia thing. She's, like, fighting, she's on the back foot. She extends a second blade, and Jewel of the Fates starts playing.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Now, we're just rewriting this movie, but that would be cool. That would be a good idea.
But that's the issue. It's a movie of, wouldn't it be cool?
But they didn't pick any cool bits.
No, they didn't actually. They picked the wrong bits.
I think it's like, wouldn't it be cool if, but then water it down.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, now we're like 7 steps away from the original wouldn't it be cool? But I think everyone will be happy with this bit.
And it's just like, no, wider appeal. We need much wider appeal on this.
I mean, I don't really know what else to say about this movie. I don't think we talked about the plot, but everyone knows the plot at this point.
Yeah, but there is no plot. They go from A to B and Palpatine comes back and they kill him and she's a Skywalker. There. 10 seconds.
Do you have anything else you want to cover on this movie? No. I think it's just real dumb overall. Whatever Conor Martin says, be damned. I hate him. I think that brings an end to this month's review. I don't ever want to watch this movie again.
No, I'm done with this now.
Makes me sad.
It's just a depressing watch. And imagine they never did another one and this is where it finished.
It'd be very funny but also really depressing. But I think that's it for this movie review, Shaun. I mean, you can take us out if you want.
Yes, thank you everyone for listening to this. We hope you enjoyed. Let us know as always what you thought of this, and also if you ever have any stuff to put in the hat, you can always just leave them in the comments. You can message us, you can do whatever, they'll all get thrown in and we'll get to them eventually. But thank you all again so much for the support. We really appreciate the hell out of you. We can't stress how much having the Patreon helps us to make the show every single week and every single month, and it wouldn't be possible without all of you. So thank you for all of that. Thank you for sharing it and telling everyone, and just generally have a good day.
Yeah, cool. So I've been Conor Lawler.
I've been Shaun Meehan.
And we shall see you all next week, guys.
Bye.